Hi all. So, as a price action trader, which all are the indicators that you can actually use to confirm your trades? So, many people ask me this question. So, I personally really don't depend much on indicators and I purely trade on price action mostly. Okay, it is very rarely that I use indicators. So, right now, I find the VWAP indicator to be pretty much reliable when it comes to index. Okay, when it comes to index trading, I find the VWAP indicator to be pretty much reliable. Now, most of you must be already familiar with the moving average indicator, which takes into consideration the average price at which a particular stock has been traded over a period. So, looking at the moving average line, we get to know like what has been the average at which the stock was traded by people. Whereas what the volume weighted average price or the VWAP weighted average price or the VWAP indicator does is it also considers the volume that has been traded at that particular price. So rather than just considering the price, it also takes into consideration the volume of shares that has been traded at that particular price point. So we get an added advantage of the volume weighted average price of the stock, which is much more reliable. So I find it pretty much reliable in the case of Bank Nifty these days. For example, let's kind of assume that this is the VWAP line or the volume weighted average price line. Okay. Now, if I see that currently the price is actually trading above the VWAP line, what it basically tells us is that majority of the people or majority of the volume of shares of this particular stock or let it be an index that has been traded is somewhere over here. Now the price is actually trading above it, meaning buyers came in. So majority of the buyers came in over here pushing the price up. Buyers came in over here pushing the price up and it is actually trading at a higher value. Now let's say that there are strong buyers present in the market for this particular underlying asset. Now whenever the price actually comes down to the VWAP, we usually see more buyers coming in pushing the price further up. Okay, so if the market is really bullish or if the strength is in the side of the buyers, definitely they'll think about purchasing more or averaging more positions when the price actually comes down to the VWAP. So this phenomenon was kind of pretty much visible to all the participants if you kind of look out Bank Nifty over the last 1 month's chart. It's pretty much reliable. Whenever the price kind of had to pierce through the VWAP, meaning the price kind of had to break below the VWAP line, most of the times it needed very huge selling or buying pressure. Okay, and what I want to tell you is that the VWAP is kind of acting as a dynamic support or resistance level, meaning if the price is actually trading above the VWAP line, it is kind of acting as a dynamic support. So whenever the price kind of drops down to the VWAP, buyers come in, averaging their position which they already bought, they push the price further up. Okay, so this phenomenon is kind of pretty much visible. So for example, today's market also, if you see, the case where the VWAP is actually getting broken, it was kind of accompanied with a very huge volume. And towards the later half, what happened is that after the VWAP, which was kind of acting as a support initially, after it kind of got broken, then it started to act as a dynamic resistance. So this phenomenon can be made use of to the fullest by traders, considering this as a dynamic support or resistance level. So I would like to conclude this video by saying that people who already took positions, so for a stock that is actually in a bullish trend, people who already took positions in the early hours, they think about averaging or they think about accumulating more positions when the price actually approaches the VWAP. They purchase more if they have the same bullish outlook on the stock. And people who were actually looking out for fresh entries, and for the ones who couldn't actually buy it when the price was beginning its upside trend, they wait for the price to actually pull back towards the VWAP to make fresh entries. Okay, so all these things I'm mentioning is only when your outlook is still the same. So if your outlook is still bullish on the index or let it be a particular stock, you may consider thinking about averaging out or purchasing more positions when the price actually approaches the VWAP. Okay, so once again I'm reminding, only if your outlook is still on the same side. Suppose your outlook has changed, then definitely you should never ever think about purchasing more quantity or averaging when the price approaches the VWAP. However, if you're somebody who thinks that okay, the outlook is still the same, but you were not able to enter at the initial phase, then you can actually try to accumulate when the price approaches the VWAP. So I find this VWAP very much reliable when it comes to Bank Nifty. I'm personally not using it for stocks, but when it comes to Bank Nifty, so where the big money is involved, okay, so we find it very reliable. For example, I can give you a basic understanding that let's say there's a huge money that is being pumped into the market by the buyers. Okay, so people are actually very much bullish on the side on the Bank Nifty. Then definitely when it kind of approaches the VWAP, you can see that more buyers will come in. They'll kind of average their position. Again, they'll kind of put in some. You can see that more buyers will come in. They'll kind of average their position. Again, they'll kind of put in some